For today's movie, we will recap the movie Nightmare on Elm Street from the year 2010. Have you watched this movie yet? If not, then listen closely as we tell the story of a vengeful ghost who murders people in their dreams. In the opening scenes, we are introduced to Dean, who is inside a cafe, taking lots of coffee orders from the waiter. Despite his attempts to grab the waitress's attention for one more cup, she does not pay him any mind. Dean follows her into the kitchen, but suddenly, he gets attacked by a man with sharp claws. He then wakes up still inside the cafe where he had just dozed off. He then notices his hand bleeding from the injury in his dream. Dean actively avoids falling asleep due to recurring nightmares featuring the same menacing figure that threatens his life. His friend Chris pays him a visit, and Dean opens up about the experience, the unsettling nightmares upon falling asleep, and his 3-day sleepless streak. These nightmares have haunted Dean since childhood, but recently, they have become more vivid, affecting him in real life. Chris reassures him, insisting that it's merely a dream, and advises him not to dwell on it. While talking, Dean accidentally spills some coffee on Chris, prompting her to go to the bathroom to clean herself. When she returns, Dean is already asleep. Dean dreams again, and in his dream, the clawed figure attacks and fatally kills him. However, in the real world, Dean is acting on his own while asleep, making it look like Dean is causing harm to himself. Following his death, all his friends and family thinks that he committed self-kill. During Dean's funeral, Chris notices a picture of Dean and she unexpectedly finds herself in the background. This revelation shocks her, as she claims not to have met Dean before high school. She confides in her ex-boyfriend Jesse, sharing that Dean's last words before his apparent suicide were, "You're not real." Chris thinks about the day he died and thinks to herself that Dean looks as if he is possessed and not in control of his body. Her boyfriend tells her not to worry and just go on with their life. Another friend of theirs named Nancy shares that she also could not believe that Dean would commit self-kill. Concerned for Chris's well-being, her boyfriend Jesse escorts her away from the discussion. When night comes, Chris struggles to fall asleep. She looks through old photographs and notices several missing from the album. She goes to the garage to look for more photo albums. There, she discovers an old box containing her childhood photo and her childhood dress with strange cuts on it. To her horror, the same ghostly figure that haunted Dean appears. The figure holds on to Chris and asks if she remembers him. Terrified, Chris shouts and abruptly wakes up in her bed. Chris attends school without any sleep. While in class, she dozes off and finds herself in the same dream. There, she sees the mysterious figure with sharp claws again. It tries to attack her, but before he can, Chris wakes up from his sleep. She discovers that her hair in real life has also been cut by the ghost. She gets frightened by this and storms out of the room. Jesse visits her, worried about her reaction in class, and asks what's wrong with her. Chris opens up and relates to him about the ghost with sharp claws that Dean told her about. She tells him that it is now coming after her. Jesse reassures her and tries to calm her down. With Chris having gone without sleep for 2 days, she asks Jesse to stay with her for the night. They sleep beside each other comfortably and Chris peacefully goes to sleep. However, she dreams again of the ghost with the sharp claws. She then wakes up and goes to the bathroom to wash her face. Upon laying back to sleep, she is shocked as the ghost, not her boyfriend, is beside her. It attacks her in her dreams, but in real life, she gets thrown all over the room. Jesse witnesses all of this. Finally, Chris gets slashed in real life and catches her last breath. Jesse is terrified by this bizarre event and runs away to find his friend Nancy. Nancy tells him that she too had been having a strange dream. She informs Jesse that she once heard a song about the murderous Freddy Krueger who haunts and kills people in their dreams. Uncertain about who will be the next victim, Jesse warns Nancy against falling asleep until they find a solution to stop Freddy Krueger from killing them in their sleep. When he goes out, he gets captured by police officers suspecting that he is behind the death of Chris. While inside the cell, he tries his best not to fall asleep. However, he soon dozes off and finds himself inside a factory where 2 children are caged. Out of nowhere, he gets a close-up look at Freddy Krueger's burned face coming towards him. He tries to run away, however, Freddy Krueger owns that dream, and he too falls victim to him. Nancy goes to his friend Quentin, who is found to be taking pills to stay awake to avoid the nightmares that plague their group. Similar to the previous victims, he tells about the same dream that he has about Freddy Krueger. Nancy finds the similarity of being haunted by Freddy peculiar and becomes determined to find the truth and solution to getting killed by the ghost with the sharp claws. She seeks help from her mother if she knows anything about it, but her mother answers no. Nancy senses that she is lying, but she stops herself pursuing it any further. Later, while trying to refresh herself in the bathtub, Nancy unintentionally falls asleep, providing Freddy an opportunity to invade her dreams. In the dream world, Nancy goes to the elementary school and sees Freddy, who tells her that she might have forgotten about her, but he will not. He tells Nancy that she has always been her favorite. He comes closer to her, but fortunately, she is awakened by a call from Quentin. She shares her dream with Quentin and tells him that her mother might know something but is hiding it. They start to research on things that might be connected to the murderous ghost as Nancy and Quentin dig into their past, they stumble upon an old photo from Nancy's kindergarten school days. To their surprise, the picture reveals that Quentin, Dean, Chris, Jesse, and Nancy all attended the same play school in their childhood. The most intriguing thing is that none of them have any recollection of this shared history, and their parents had deliberately kept it a secret. Shocked by this revelation, Nancy confronts her mother, seeking an explanation for the hidden truth. Nancy's mom then proceeds to disclose the long-concealed story. During their time at play school, there was a gardener by the name of Fred Krueger. Fred was beloved by everyone, particularly attached to the children, and had a special fondness for Nancy. He seemed harmless and the people trusted him completely. However, the kids gradually become quieter and the parents found out that Fred was physically harming their children. After that incident, Fred Krueger left the city and was never seen again. To protect their kids from the trauma, the parents agreed to never mention the past with Fred ever again. Upon uncovering the truth, Nancy begins to gather information about the other children who shared the same school with Fred. After doing online research reveals a chilling pattern: every one of them has died in their sleep. Among the individuals shown in the photo, only Nancy and Quentin remain alive. Meanwhile, Quentin, suffering from sleep deprivation, dozes off while swimming. In his dream, he finds himself in a location where he witnesses Freddy being pursued by the parents of the children. Desperate to escape, Freddy hides in a factory. The enraged parents set the entire factory ablaze, resulting in Freddy Krueger's demise. With this revelation, Quentin finally understands the true motive behind Freddy's killing spree. Nancy comes with Quentin as they confront Quentin's father, demanding an explanation about their past. He argues why they killed Freddy based on what they, as children, said. They could have been lying, and yet, Freddy was blamed. But his father retorts that Freddy was a monster and he deserved what had happened to him. Unsatisfied with the justification for Freddy's death, Quentin and Nancy storms outside angrily. Quentin goes to a pharmacist to buy pills to keep himself awake, but the guy refuses to sell him anything, stating that it could be dangerous for his health. In the car, Nancy is also suffering from sleep deprivation, having no sleep in the last couple of days. She momentarily gives in and finds herself entering a medicine shop. There, she sees Freddy waiting for her. He attacks her but later stops, saying that he will not kill her. For the meantime at least. She then wakes up with wounds and a piece of cloth taken from Freddy. She is then taken to the hospital for treatment. The doctor offers an injection to make her sleep and rest, but she strongly rejects it. In another scene, Quentin steals an adrenaline shot to keep himself awake. In the hospital, the doctor informs Nancy's mom that Nancy really needs to rest or else it could turn into a more serious health concern. They later find Nancy gone from the room. She is seen inside Quentin's car. Quentin takes the stolen adrenaline shot and offers her some of it to keep themselves awake. However, she declines and they go on their way. Their destination is their old school to investigate the truth about Freddy Krueger. When they arrive, they visit Freddy's room and also manage to find the secret cave where Freddy took the children. They discover weird pictures and drawings inside the cave suggesting that Freddy was indeed a monster when he was alive and that their parents were right all along. Nancy then remembers that she was able to bring a piece of clothing of Freddy from the dream world into the real world. She hypothesizes that it is possible to bring Freddy into the real world as well. She makes a plan with Quentin, suggesting that they have to sleep first, then bring Freddy into the real world, and then kill to forever make him disappear. She tells Quentin that she will be the bait and Quentin will be the one to wake her up if she is in danger. She nods off to sleep to visit Freddy. However, soon after that, Quentin also falls asleep. In the dream world, Quentin is chased and attacked by Freddy Krueger. Because Freddy has the home court advantage, he easily injures Quentin. Before he can land the final blow to Quentin, Nancy arrives and distracts Freddy, who chases after her. In the dream world, Freddy controls everything. He easily captures Nancy and binds her to the bed. He then says that he will not kill her, instead, she will stay as his prisoner forever. Meanwhile, Quentin wakes up in the real world. He then uses the adrenaline shot and injects it into Nancy, forcefully waking her up. However, their plan to bring Freddy into the real world is also successful. He goes at the two of them and Quentin tries his best to stop Freddy. However, he is also too strong in the real world. He is about to kill Quentin when Nancy gets from behind and cuts him. Finally, the nightmare ends with Freddy gone both in the real world and in the dream world. The two then proceed to burn the whole place down and quickly escape. The police arrive and Quentin is taken to the hospital to heal from his wounds. They heave a sigh of relief that they have finally survived Freddy's attempt at their lives. Later, when Nancy gets home with her mother, she sees Freddy in the mirror, and she screams in horror as Freddy takes her mother into the mirror. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this.